Chase just dropped something that every single business owner needs to know about. It's called the American Dream Initiative, and they're deploying $80 billion into the hands of small business owners all across the country. Now, I've been in the funding space for years. We've deployed over $40 million to small and medium-sized businesses through Waiters Capital. And when I saw this announcement, I knew I had to break this down for you guys first. This is one of the biggest opportunities I've seen in a long time. But here's the thing, $80 billion means absolutely nothing if you're not positioned correctly to take advantage of it. Most business owners are going to hear about this program, get excited, walk into a Chase branch and get turned down, not because the capital isn't there, but because they aren't structured properly. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what this program is, how the capital is going to be distributed, and most importantly, the exact steps you need to take right now to position your business so you don't miss out on this wave. Now, first, let's really understand what Chase just committed to here. $80 billion is not some random marketing campaign. That's real capital deployment over the next decade, targeted specifically at small businesses. To put this in perspective, that's about $8 billion a year that has to leave Chase's balance sheet and land in real companies. They don't make that kind of commitment unless they're highly motivated to approve qualified business owners. Chase is projecting this initiative could impact over 10 million businesses across the country. So the question for you isn't, is there enough money? The question is, are you going to be one of the businesses that gets it or one of the businesses that gets declined and watches everyone else scale? And what caught my attention wasn't just the dollar amount, it was the infrastructure behind it. They're hiring over 1,000 new small business bankers dedicated to this initiative. Think about it. You don't hire 1,000 bankers unless you're planning to move serious money for years. That means more outreach, more proactive calls from bankers, more offers being put in front of existing customers. This tells me this isn't temporary. This is a long-term shift in how large banks want to work with small business owners moving forward. And historically, when Chase moves aggressively into a market, other banks pay attention. Regional banks start adjusting, competitors start responding, the entire lending environment shifts. So what you're seeing right now may not just be a Chase opportunity. This could be the beginning of a much bigger banking trend. And the people who position themselves early usually get the best approvals, the best terms, and the easiest access to capital. Now, this is where most business owners get confused. They think there's one application, one approval path, and one bucket of money. That's not how this works. Chase is distributing capital through multiple channels, and understanding which lane fits your business matters most, because the wrong lane wastes time and can even trigger avoidable declines on your profile. So let's break down the three main lanes. Lane number one, direct Chase lending products. This is the prime lane. This includes things like business lines of credit, business term loans, and SBA-backed products. And honestly, these are usually the products you want to target first. Why is that? Lower rates, higher limits, longer repayment terms. A strong SBA-style product at 7 or 8% over multiple years is completely different from expensive short-term money. That's growth capital. That's the kind of money you can use to hire, to buy equipment, to pour into marketing, and actually grow instead of just plugging in holes. If you're already doing consistent revenue, have decent credit, and can show real operations, this should be your main objective with Chase. Lane number two is going to be industry specific and relationship based lending. Banks do not lend equally across all industries. They tend to favor businesses they view as stable, scalable, or essential to other business functioning. So you'll see more appetite around things like businesses tied to the government contracting, payroll, HR services, cash flow management, tools, certain professional services, and B2B operations.
Quick break. If you're watching this, you've probably thought about making real money in funding instead of just watching YouTube videos about it. This week, I'm hosting a free workshop where I'll show you exactly how our students are closing $5,000 to $25,000 commission checks on deals as big as $50,000, $100,000, even $250,000. In 60 minutes, I'll walk you through the business model, how to find deals, and what I do if I had to start from scratch. Click the link below, save your seat, and come right back to this video.
If your business falls into a category the bank already likes, approvals become easier because the risk profile already makes sense internally. On the flip side, if you're in what they consider a high risk or volatile industry, you don't give up. You just have to be even sharper with your structure and your story. This is where building a relationship with a dedicated small business banker really matters. They become your internal advocate. They can tell you which products fit your profile the best, what underwriters are actually looking for this quarter, and when to actually apply. Next, we have lane number three, which will be CDFIs and community lending partners. There's also another pathway through CDFIs and community lending programs. These exist for businesses that may not fully qualify through traditional underwriting. Maybe the credit profile isn't perfect. Maybe the business is newer. Maybe you're in an underserved market they specifically want to support. Now, personally, I don't like leading if we can avoid it because traditional bank capital is usually cheaper and cleaner, but it's still important to know these lanes exist, especially if you're rebuilding or you're early and need the first small approval to get some history on the board. Now, let me tell you where most business owners are about to mess this up. They think having an LLC automatically means they're ready for funding. Banks don't lend to hype, they lend to structure. You can have good income, a decent score, and even a profitable business and still get denied because the business doesn't look legitimate in the bank's eyes. I've seen this happen constantly. Business owners walk into banks with decent numbers, but terrible positioning, wrong NATS code setup, no business banking relationship, inconsistent records, no business activity flowing through the company properly. To the bank, it doesn't look like an established business. It looks like a side hustle. To give you an example, we had a client running a marketing agency making solid money. Good score, good revenue, but he got denied. Not because he lacked income, because the structure looked sloppy. The NATS code setup didn't match the business activity, addresses were inconsistent, no real business banking relationship existed. Everything was running through his personal accounts. From his perspective, he had a business. But from the bank's perspective, they were looking at a risky individual mixing everything together. Once we cleaned everything up and positioned it properly, that same person with the same income, same basic credit profile got approved for significantly more capital. That's the difference between hoping and positioning. So let me walk you through the exact framework I focus on right now if you wanted to maximize odds with Chase. Think of this as a 3-part checklist. Number 1, entity positioning. Number 2, banking relationship. And number 3, personal credit profile. Get these 3 right and you move yourself in front of the line. Step 1 is going to be entity positioning. Your business needs to be properly structured. That includes using a low-risk NACS classification that banks are comfortable lending against. Don't just click the first code that sounds close. Pick the one that makes sense and isn't flagged as high risk. Your records need to match everywhere. I'm talking the Secretary of State, IRS and EIN records, bank accounts, business profiles, and even online listings and invoices. If your business name, address, or industry looks different in 3 different places, you look disorganized. Underwriters hate confusion. Consistency matters more than people realize. You want the bank's internal system, external data sources, and your paperwork all telling the same exact story about who you are and what you do. If that's messy for you right now, that's priority number 1 to fix. Before you apply, not after a decline. Step number 2 is going to be building a real business banking relationship with Chase. Once the entity is structured properly, the next major piece is your banking relationship. This is where a lot of people skip steps. If you're planning on applying for Chase funding, you should already be banking with Chase and not just have the account open, actually using it. Consistent deposits, business expenses going in and out, maybe a business card being used responsibly. You want the bank to see this is a real business operating. Money comes in, money goes out, and they manage it well. Personally, I let the account season for around 60 to 90 days with real activity before aggressively applying. Here's a simple game plan you can follow starting this week. Number 1, open or clean up your Chase business checking account. Number 2, route your main revenue streams into that account. Number 3, pay your core expenses from that account. Number 4, avoid bouncing anything, keep the account out of trouble. By the time your banker pulls up your profile, they should already see a living, breathing business. That relationship matters more than the average owner realizes. The banker can pull internal notes, see your history, and match products that fit. Step 3 is going to be tightening up your personal credit profile. After that, your personal credit still matters heavily for most small businesses, especially businesses doing under $1 million in revenue. You want a 700 plus credit score, ideally, low utilization of revolving lines, clean payment history, no recent negatives or weird spikes. And this is important. Banks don't just lend off your score, they look at your entire credit profile. History, mix-up accounts, how often you're applying for new credit, and how you handle your current limits. If you know your credit is rough right now, don't ignore it. Build a 3 to 6 month plan, pay down utilization, clean up late payments when possible, and stop shotgunning applications to every lender. You do not want to come off as desperate. That just creates more inquiries and makes you look more desperate. Then when you combine strong credit, real deposits, and a real banking relationships, approvals become dramatically easier. That's the formula. CRD, credit, relationships, deposit, equals high approvals. That's the game. And when all 3 are up correctly, you stop walking into banks hoping for approvals. You walk in expecting the best. Now let's talk about timing and action steps. This initiative is happening now, but the people who move early usually get the easiest path. Here's the 90-day plan I follow if I were you. Week 1 to 2, fix your entity details, NACS code, make sure your business name and address are consistent everywhere. Open or confirm your Chase business checking is active. Weeks 3 to 8, run your real business activity through Chase, set a target amount monthly in deposits you want showing, clean up your credit utilization, issues on the personal side. Week 9 to 12, sit down with a Chase small business banker. Share what your business does, your numbers, and your goals. Ask specifically which products you're most likely to qualify for right now and what they want to see in order for you to hit that next funding tier. You're not walking in asking, can I get a loan? You're walking in saying, here's my activity with you, here's my credit profile, and here's the growth I want to fund. What's the best structure for us to work together? That's a completely different posture. So if your structure is off, fix it now. If your business banking is weak, fix it now. If your credit profile needs work, start now. Then give the relationship time to season. Run real business activity through your account, build consistency, because when the profile lines up correctly, banks stop treating you like a risk and start treating you like a business owner they actually want to lend to. And that's the shift. So that's the breakdown on Chase's American Dream Initiative and how to actually position yourself to take advantage of it. Now, knowing how to structure your business is one thing, but seeing the actual funding process happen in real time is something else entirely. I made a video where I walk you through a live funding sequence for a client from start to finish, so you can see exactly how the money hits the account. Go watch that right here. Like this video, subscribe for more on business funding, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.